Good morning, and welcome back to another wonderful day of making great art with your hostess and friendly neighborhood mama bird, MK Wizard. Although you may call me Mary. As you've noticed from my voice, I still haven't quite gotten over my cold, but I don't need my nose in order to draw great art. But you'll have to forgive me if every now and then you hear me cough, sniffle, or even blow my nose. Though for the last part, I'm going to try to mute the mic so you don't have to hear every single dirty detail. Anyway, the show must go on, so on with the show. Today, you're going to notice that we're going to do a comic page from my fan comic, The Re-Wedding of Optimus Prime and Alita 1. The long and short of the premise is that Optimus Prime and Alita 1 were secretly divorced for a long time. And just as that implies, they both came to realize that that was a really bad idea as they still loved each other like crazy. And now that they're living in a time of peace, they decided to finally have the wedding they always dreamt of having. But of course, this is Transformers. It is not without some challenges and a lot of hilarity. My art style of the Transformers is based on G1 with some modern elements and also some Looney Tune style fluidity. As you've noticed just from this page, I do the usual setup of scanning the sketch, changing it to blue, making that layer slightly transparent, and then making a base layer on top of it for inking. You're also going to see some techniques that I use for making repeat poses with some tweaks that save time and also effort. Plus, it keeps the characters clean and consistent. Anyways, let's get started. You'll notice that when I do my inking of the Transformers, I do a combination of blocky elements and round elements. Sometimes what I do is that I do the technique of changing poses because especially in this case you see the character's head is tilted, so I have to do the tilting of shapes. This for just to let you know, this is my design choice of Ironhide. This is what I really love about Transformers also. It's a very flexible series. It allows for things like different universes. Well, not just allows, it outright has different continuities, different realities, different ideas. And it is, no pun intended, the prime example of how there are absolutely no rules in fiction. You can make, if with the right imagination and the right kind of effort, and as long as you respect the lore in all the ways that count, you can go in any direction you want and make something absolutely beautiful. And that is the way fantasy and fiction should be. Being able to play, being able to have open ideas, and not be afraid to experiment a little. Also, another thing I've always appreciated about Transformers is that the community is so kind. Even if you don't agree on the same things or like different romantic pairings, like different continuities, like different creative decisions, everybody is so nice about it. It is one of the kindest, most accepting, most open minded communities I've ever seen. And if even if you're not a big Transformers fan, you'll be a fan of the fan base for that reason. I mean, you will never meet a kinder community. I'm even happy to say that my son likes Transformers too. He seems to like G1 and Rescue Bots, which was aimed for his age anyway to begin with. Though there's no law saying that adults can't like them too. In fact, a lot of adults do. What I also liked about Transformers Rescue Bots is that it opened the idea up that a Transformers series doesn't have to be about war, violence, and even about Optimus Prime for it to be interesting. In fact, in some situations, it's better if he sits it out. Though most of the time, I do like it when he's there, even if he's a side character. But then again, that's just the way the series of Transformers works. It is his show. Pardon me. In the case of my fan comic, it is going to have some action elements, but it focuses mostly on romance, duh, and some comedy. Well, actually, a lot of comedy. First of all, just look at the style of the characters. It's very reminiscent of the Tex Avery cartoons. Like I said, I have no formal training when it comes to my art, so I learned to draw by watching a lot of cartoons and drawing and finding my own style like that. Uh, there we go. I'm very surprised that Transformers doesn't play up doing an on screen wedding for Optimus Prime and Alita 1 because a lot of people would pay to see that. In fact, I would pay to see that, but since they're not doing it, I took it upon myself. I really like weddings and like seeing them on TV a lot. I'm also romantic, I confess, and I'm damn proud of it. Doing this comic made me very nostalgic for my own wedding, which I absolutely loved. It was everything I hoped it would be. And the best part is, I married the right man. It's important. At the end of the day, that's what goes on to last forever. Yeah. Anyways, as you see, I'm already doing the example of the repeat thing. Like what I do is that if you know that a scene or character is going to be appearing the exact same way in another thing, you just copy and paste it. You don't have to redraw over and over again because that can get very messy. Not that I don't commend the people who can do it like that, but I'm not one of those people. And also, I had time is limited. I have to cook. I have clean. I have in real life duties to do. Okay, now on to Optimus Prime here. Optimus Prime is a very tall character, so yes, unfortunately, when making him in multiple panels, parts of him are going to get cut off. It's actually not hard to draw Transformers. It's just that you have to drawing them the first time can be hard, and it also depends on how detailed you want to go. I prefer the G1 way of doing it, which is clean and simple. and you just nice, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I find that when cartoons have too many details, too many things, it actually makes the character look cluttered. It makes them too. It's too much, and also it's an. At one point, it's not nice. It's like taking a cake and putting too many decorations on it. So much frosting, so many fondant, so many sprinkles, and all that, that you barely have a cake anymore, and it's not appetizing. Well, it's the same thing with cartoons. If you make it too detailed, it's not visually appetizing anymore. You get something that's very cluttered, very, how can I put it, crowded. And it's one of the reasons I didn't like the Bayverse, and why, I know at the risk of sounding controversial, I don't like it when the Transformers are CGI. I actually prefer them when they're 2D animated. I find they come out cleaner like that, and it suits them better. Because Transformers did, after all, start off as toys. You know, something innocent, something nice and clean. And plus, 2D animation is just more emotive, I find. Not that I'm saying CGI isn't good. CGI has made a lot of great things, especially in the video game industry. But when it comes to the animation industry, I really do prefer 2D. And when the day comes when I get my own work into animation, and it will happen, mark my words, I want it to be 2D animated. I will insist on it. In fact, one diabolical thing I kind of do is that I purposely design my characters in such a way that you kind of have to force people's hand into doing 2D animation, because 3D CGI would not translate well into them. Yeah. Like, you see, it's not hard to draw these characters. It's really not. It's just that we think it's hard because it looks that way. It can be intimidating to draw Transformers. And you'll see here that I didn't draw Transform Optimus's audible, which is his ear. That's what Transformers call their ears, audibles. But there's a reason for that. You're going to see later. There's a method to all of this. Just trust the process. Anyways, we're going to continue here. It's also why I'm not drawing his eyes or eyebrows yet. It's because in one of the panels his expression is going to be different. And I don't want to waste my time redoing the same thing over and over again when I don't have to. And also, redrawing and messy erasing is not fun to do. Like I said, I learned a lot of techniques over the years, and one of them is to save yourself time, is to not do the details all at once. You're allowed to do things a bit later and leave things unfinished. Plus, it actually adds to the effect when you don't do everything all at once, because it makes it look like there's actual nice, smooth, clean movement. When we move our face to make different expressions, we're not just moving our eyes or our eyebrows, we're moving our entire face. We smile, we we wrinkle our noses, we just basically do things very in very detailed ways. We are not constant lines. We're fluid like liquid. We're always changing. And if you want a good example of that, look at anime, how a lot of scenes are always redrawn and everything. However, sometimes they tend to recycle scenes in art too. I mean, think Sailor Moon if you've watched that anime, or better, let's be more general here. Magical Girl transformations in general, you will see that they use the same animation sequence again and again when the transformation scene is happening. And that's okay. Like, it should be done like that because people's time is limited. You want to finish the cartoon at one point. Plus, it doesn't seem to bother us, the viewers, very much. I mean, I think the transformation sequence of Magical Girls is very beautiful. It's like watching a dance. It's like listening to the same song over again. You don't get tired of it. Like, it's just something beautiful. Although I admit that sometimes it does get long, but even then they've learned to shorten it to like cut down the scenes a bit more. But anyways, back to Transformers. Like I said before, I don't like the Bayverse Transformers. No offense to anyone who does. I appreciate what the Bayverse did for the lore and the imagination and even some of the art. Like, and I really love Michaela Baines. She is my favorite character in the Bayverse, and I think she was the most criminally underrated and wasted character in Transformers. I have an article about that on Tumblr if you want to read it. Check my socials to find it. Just click my link tree, and you'll find a link to my Tumblr. But I digress. The point is that I find that she was the best thing that came out of the Transformers Bayverse movies, and I find it a crying shame that she was only in two films. I'm well aware of what happened behind the scenes, and I think it's sad that it happened the way it did. I also believe that I think everybody was should have handled it better, including the actress Megan Fox. Like, what she said wasn't very nice, but the way she was treated was not very nice either. But that's a discussion all on its own, and let's keep things light here. Like, the point is that the Bayverse did have some good ideas, and I am not completely opposed even to a Transformers live action film or series. But here's my radical proposal: why not do it with live action with practical effects? And I know that sounds nuts and something not doable, but if you look on the internet, even amateurs have found a way to print 3D armors and costumes of the Transformers, and they're pretty impressive. Like, if you see them, they are worthy of like appearing in a Hollywood series. With that said, why not do a live action series where the Transformers have practical effects? It can be done. It's just that Hollywood, for some reason, doesn't want to. And I know the counter argument, the most popular one is that they can't afford it. But I think that that's a lie. I mean, if they can afford to keep making more CGI movies and stuff we didn't ask for, they can afford to make stuff we did ask for. And like I said before, amateurs do this stuff all the time, making costumes and everything. And back in the day, This is how a lot of special effects used to be done. And if you were to use the practical effects alongside the special effects, I think you'd create something absolutely amazing as they have before. I mean, look at Vecna from Stranger Things. Vecna from Stranger Things is a walking, talking work of art of practical effects that gets slightly uplifted by the amazement of CGI. But it does not heavily rely on it to the point where it's a crutch. And the best part is that because a lot of it is the practical effects, it just has that real feel. And to me, it's also what made him genuinely terrifying in all the best ways, of course, because he's actually there and there's actually someone you can actually reach out and touch, and you know it, you the viewer, it just makes it all the better. Everything is all the more organic and everything. And I do believe that the same can be done with Transformers. You can have a field day with the miniature sets, perspective, and I would love to see the combination of makeup and also those animatronic puppet masks for the costumes. That would be lots of fun. And also, I think a lot of actors out there would have lots of fun doing it. Like, honestly, why not? Do you have any idea how terrifying Megatron would look? In a nice, delightful way, that is. If his face was animatronic, especially when he does his wide range of emotions, like, why not? And you know what? I do think that they are going to do it one day. The demand for practical effects is louder than ever because people have big time CGI fatigue, and they want things to be real again. I mean, just look at how in Star Wars, even the new shows have practical effects a lot more now. I mean, in the Skeleton Crew, one of the characters, it eludes me, but he looks kind of like an elephant who's blue. That was not CGI. That was a guy in a costume. In an animatronic one, the fact that he was like that made a difference. Can you imagine what it would have been like if you had this artificial CGI thing walking around alongside everyone who was real all the time? It would have killed the fantasy. And that's my number one issue with the Bayformers. You can see that they're CGI. They're not really there. They're just computer generated. Note that this is not an attack on CGI in general. I appreciate CGI, and there even are some CGI cartoons I really love. But it's just not the same. It's like trying to compare, I don't know, a store bought cake to a freshly made homemade cake. Yes, the store bought cake, especially one from a bakery, can be absolutely amazing, and I swear by that at least. But it's not the same as the meals, the cakes you make yourself. It never will be. And that's my big issue with CGI. The fact that it's just trying to be something and it just can't be. It just can't be. The only time I think that it works is that if it's a video game or if the entire show is in fact CGI. Because at least everything is constant. Everything is the same and well, I think you get what I mean. Anyways, back to the drawing here. You see that I did an example of the copy and paste and why I didn't add details until after. It's because Optimus's eyes are going to be different. Like here, he has his eyes closed, he's sighing. And it's not uncommon for in cartoons for people to be closing their eyes as they sigh, sometimes out of relief, out of frustration. In the case of Optimus here, it's the latter, frustration. Okay, now I'm going to show you. Usually I try to avoid doing this, but now here's the part where I draw his audibles. In this case, I'm doing it because I'm only doing that one little thing. And like I said, it's nice. It's just like that. Yeah, just cleaning it up here, making sure the line is clean. Nah, I don't like the way I did that. Yeah, let's do it a bit better. Like Optimus's audibles are not that wide. Yeah, that's better. There. Yeah, like I said, when we have facial expressions, we it's not just our eyes or mouths that move, it's the entire face. And in the case of Optimus, because he has those like rabbit ear audibles, he whenever he feels something like really feels it intensely, sometimes it shows in his audibles, like they get lifted up or move according to his mood, kind of like Bugs Bunny's rabbit ears. I find it really showcases the emotion a lot better. Plus, visually, it's just fun. Maybe I should do the eye first. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Okay, now I'm gonna do his audibles here. And the standard is that they stick up like that. Same on this side. Maybe not quite like that. The long audible style for Optimus Prime actually came from the anime. Well, animes, there are several of them. And I have to admit, I like him with long audibles. I find it makes him look fun. Plus, like I said, they make it easier to express emotion and you know, play with. Yeah, that's another thing I do out of comic relief. I take the insignia and I make it emotive too. Yeah. In this case, it's okay if it doesn't look the same. Uh, okay. I kind of moved that. That's okay. Here. There. That's better. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, re- if you're going for a specific style, and in my case, you're going for very cartoonish and funny, you should play with techniques like that. And just little touches where the characters do stuff like that. And like I said, Optimus Prime is tall, so his audibles tend to get cut off a lot in a lot of panels. Don't feel bad about that. Even in the cartoons, if you remember, because he was the tallest. Oops. Kind of move that over. Anyways, as I was saying, because he was the tallest, a lot of him used to get cut off a lot. Okay, just clean up this, cut off the excess. And now it is time to do the paneling. Yeah, that's something I do after I do the drawings because I want to get the paneling just right. In the past, I used to try drawing the panels first and then drawing inside of them, but it didn't quite work out. Things would get cut off, things would get sacrificed, and in the end, I was overall not happy with it. Anyways, as I was saying, what I do is I do the square select, and then I do the stroke selection. In this case, it's in white. Okay, and then I do the outside of the square in white. Then I do the rectangular select again and I fill with white. Oh, by the way, I do a line weight of 6. Okay, and try to keep the panel size, the line size consistent. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to mention this before, sorry. I make a separate layer for the panels first. Then I do selection, what's the tool called? Fuzzy select tool, and I select the inside of the square, and I stroke again, and this time in black. Again, the line weight is 6, but if you want to do a different size, you can. And as you can see, a nice square there. There. And I merge it down to the base because it makes filling out the colors easier. And that's what we're going to do now. We're going to fill out the colors. You see, I saved myself like about another hour of inking because I did all that. Oops. Oh, well, nothing undo can't fix. It looks like Optimus Prime needs to be moved down a bit more. Yeah, because you see here the lines are not quite touching. And don't feel bad when you make mistakes like that. As you see, I've been doing this for a while and it happens. Another thing you can do is just take the tool and do that, but I don't feel like doing that. I I'd rather not mess up the lines. Plus, having him be lower adds the effect that he's kind of like slumping down his shoulders a little, which people do when they're sighing and feeling down. Okay, and like I said, because I'm going for the G1 Looney Tune style art here, there's not a lot of shading, there's just enough. Comic pages I tend to keep simple because, I draw them over and over again, and I'd like to get the story finished at one point. A lot of professionals do this too. Okay, as I was saying, I'm also going to do some color select here because I like the colors to be consistent, and it's hard to memorize colors by heart. So I'm going to do this. To make the insignia stand out, I have it have that gradient effect. Technically, it did that even in the cartoon if you take a good look, especially at when the scenes where they were going for the fancy style. The original Autobot symbol actually had some blue on top, not purple, and even the Decepticon symbol was the same way. But for this part, I'm just keeping it like red, but different shades. It starts off as light red and then goes to dark red. I I find it looks better like that. There we go. Now we can get back to coloring white in the places we missed. That's another thing I like about coloring Transformers because they follow a certain pattern and color palette. You can reuse a lot of the same colors. I'm guessing this was intentional because if you recall in the original cartoon, a lot of the characters, especially the Autobots, had the same colors. A lot of them were red, a lot of them were blue and black and white. Yeah. And also they're metal, so a lot of them are going to be gray. Well, their faces tend to be gray. Oops. Is that the right shade of red? No, it's not. It's too bright. There. Like it's not a shocking, super shocking like red. Like if it's the red is too bright, it's harsh on the eyes. Uh, Also, I need to check something. Yeah, never mind. I was right. I forgot the color of Optimus's abs here, but they're gray. At least I paint them that way. Yeah, like I said, I keep it simple, clean, really no nonsense here. Just a spot, that's okay. Anyways, I'm wondering, would Hasbro honestly do this? Like, I mean, like maybe have an on-screen wedding with Optimus and Alita. I'd like that. But when I stop and think about it, they seem more concerned with always breaking them up, and that really irks me. Like, why does Hollywood do this? Like, take every iconic couple that we grew up with and break them up. Like, I hate to break it to them, but this does not keep them young or fresh. It just frustrates fans. Because just like in real life, just because you get a divorce, well, a divorce is not the fountain of youth. If you were like 40 and with a day job, like a desk job, and you had 6 kids, well, guess what? Even if you get divorced, you're still 40. You have a desk job, and 6 kids. In other words, the only thing that changed was your relationship status. And don't get me wrong, to all the people out there who are divorced and for good reason, it can be a new beginning and in a good way, but it's not a fountain of youth. And that's if you're doing it just to reclaim your glory days, don't do that. You will be sorry. If you're gonna like, I'm not advocating divorce like on a whim, but if you are gonna get a divorce, you should do it for the right reasons, not because you really want to be 20 again. It's not gonna work. Anyways, what do I know? I'm not a marriage counselor, but I am a married woman, so I do have some experience with this. Anyways, more importantly, that's another thing I do with reusing in my comics. What I do is that I take the same color and I do the color pick to make sure I am using the same color all the time for the same character over and over again, so I don't make mistakes. In the past, I tried memorizing color by heart. It didn't work. Anyways, normally I don't even do fan comic pages on Thursdays because, according to my schedule, what I try to do is that I try to do at least two original comic pages a day from Monday to Thursday, and I save doing comic pages Fridays, which is tomorrow. And the good thing about staying on schedule is that you only need to do the amount you assign to yourself. You don't need to hustle and do 3 pages a day. But I felt like doing this because I actually fell behind last week in terms of my comic pages because I was sick. So I'm doing the 1 page I missed doing last week. And also, it's like I said, it's an opportunity for you to see how I do comic pages, which I did want to show you for a long time now. And opportunity knocks. There's not a lot happening in this page, at least not visually, but it's one of those pages that's meant to show like mood and also technique, which I'm very proud of. Yeah. And like I said, I do some shading, like in the case of underneath the neck. Uh oh. It would seem the insignia got messed up. That's okay, we can fix that. Well, I just did, so it's okay. When coming up with a lot of my original designs for the Transformers, it was a bit of a challenge because I have to confess that while G1 was my favorite series, I didn't like some of them. Plus, I did want the characters to be distinct from each other and to be easily recognizable. With some modern elements that I like in the case of Wheeljack, I did like that his new look that stuck was that he has a beard. I think it looks great on him. It really suits him, and it suits his personality because he's very mad scientist in all the good ways. He's a lovable mad scientist with a heart of gold. Well, spark of gold. Transformers don't have hearts, they have sparks, which serve as both their heart and their soul, if you know that part of the lore. And if you don't, you just learn something new. Anyways, that's the point. And like I said, because it is kind of a Looney Tunes style Transformers, in my case, I play with a lot of ideas. One of them being is that Transformers, their armors actually come off. Like, honestly, can you picture them sleeping in these big clunky things? Or being able to wash themselves properly? Like, ew. And also, another interesting thing is that the armor stands for their whole wardrobe. Well, most of the wardrobe. Like, it can actually transform. And even the texture can transform from being like blocky, hard, metallic armor to being an alloy that's akin to cloth. And in the coming pages, you're going to see that in the fan comic. You're going to see. And what you have already seen is that for some things, you can't find a substitute for in transforming into. Like Optimus is for his big day, he doesn't simply transform this thing into a tuxedo. And the Autobots will note that everything I'm about to tell you is just fandom only stuff that I made up for my story. The the Manbots wear wedding armor. So in his case, he has a ceremonial special armor that has been passed down to him from father to son for generations, or in some cases, father to grandchild. Because let's face it, there were a few lady primes. But I digress. The point is that this is a special kind of armor that's been in his family for a long time, and he really wanted to wear it. But here's the thing: Optimus is plus sized, and his dad was not. So unfortunately, it didn't fit him, and he tore it. Like I said, this armor has materials that mirror cloth, so that's gonna happen. It's nothing to feel that bad about. Like we've all gained weight, and we're not gonna have the bodies we had at 40 that we had at 20. So yeah, even Optimus Prime cannot escape getting older or loving delicious food. Anyways, I want to also show you another technique. I'm going to use the gradient here for the background here again because it's the sky. The thing we get wrong most about the sky is that we think it's one consistent blue, and it's not. It's actually varying shades of blue on a nice sunny day. The top is sort of like a darkish, like almost royal blue, and the bottom tends to be a baby blue. Like this. Like you see, like there's a bit of a hue going on. Pardon me, just clearing my throat. And last, we're doing the speech bubble. There's not a lot to do because, as you see, not the characters are not talking a lot here. Of course, I have to make sure I have the right font. I use the Gesture Regular. It's one that you can get for free online. Mm. Yeah, what I do is that I do the circle select and I add the path. And if you want this all to become one selection, you hold your shift key and click on the screen selection from path. And there you see, it all becomes one. And then I do the fill with color and stroke selection. In this case, I do black. And our page is done. Thanks a lot for joining me today. I hope you had fun watching me do this and that I taught you some valuable techniques that you can try at home when making your own comic pages to support my work and everything I do. Please become a Ko-fi member of mine, or even do a one-off Ko-fi. You can even do. I even do commissions, so please check out my Ko-fi page for that. The link is on my profile page, and be sure to also check out my comics, both my fan works and original works. Anyways, I'll see you the next time. Have yourself a great day. Bye and lots of love.